What if tonight, after all the long hours and quiet questions, you could simply rest in the truth that nothing you face today has used up God's love? What if the darkness around you is not the end, but the gentle cover under which new mercies are being prepared? What if you could lay your head down and trust that grace is already on its way with the morning light? Take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders soften. Let the day begin to fall away. Every thought can rest now. Every burden can wait. Every heartbeat can slow to the rhythm of peace. If these stories bring you peace, take a moment to like this video, subscribe for more nightly reflections, and share where you're listening from tonight. Your words and presence help keep this space warm and growing. Now, take another slow breath. Let's begin. The air outside is cool and still. A soft wind moves through the trees, carrying the scent of earth after rain. The sky above is deep and blue-black, a quiet ocean of stars stretching beyond sight. A small candle flickers on the windowsill, its flame swaying in gentle conversation with the night air. Inside, a traveler sits by that light, hands folded, eyes heavy, heart weary but awake. He has walked through many days that felt too long, and many nights that felt too quiet, and yet, somewhere deep within, a small voice keeps whispering, "Wait, morning is coming." He looks toward the window, the stars reflected in his eyes, and he remembers a verse his heart once knew by heart: "Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed. His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." The words move through him like warm light, quietly healing what the day had worn thin. He does not try to understand them. He simply lets them be, like a blanket drawn closer. Outside, the wind shifts, the first hint of dawn somewhere beyond the hills. It is not yet light, but something in the air changes. The world holds its breath, and the traveler feels his own breath match it. Breathe in, hope beginning. Breathe out, weariness ending. He remembers how many mornings he has seen come after nights like this. How mercy has never failed to find him, whether in sunrise or in someone's gentle word. And he realizes, mercy is not a reward. It is the nature of God himself. Even here, in the half-dark between fear and faith, he is present, steady, watching. Breathe in, presence. Breathe out, fear. You are safe in the love that renews without end. The traveler leans back against the wooden chair, eyes closing slowly. The flame of the candle flickers, but does not go out. Outside, the first bird calls softly from the branches. A single note, fragile but certain, like a promise being kept, and in that sound, he hears the beginning of grace again. The night is not over, but it has already lost its power. He smiles faintly, and whispers into the stillness, "Great is your faithfulness." Breathe in, faithfulness that does not fail. Breathe out, yesterday's shadows. Rest in this moment, for mercy is already on its way. The heavens declare his glory, the stars declare his promise, and the heart, waiting in quiet trust, declares his new mercies every morning. The night deepens around the traveler. The candle still burns softly on the windowsill, its light a warm heartbeat against the cool air beyond the glass. The world is wrapped in stillness, every sound hushed, every shadow gentle, every heartbeat of creation resting in God's quiet rhythm. Inside the small room, the traveler leans forward, elbows on his knees, fingers interlaced. His eyes trace the small flame. How it bends, how it breathes, how it keeps burning though surrounded by dark. He realizes, that is what mercy feels like. Not loud, not sudden, but steady, always there. Breathe in, steadiness. Breathe out. Fear of the dark. Even in silence, mercy moves. He closes his eyes, and the quiet deepens. He can feel the weight of the day still clinging to him, the worries that whispered too long, the guilt that lingered without invitation, the weariness that seeps deeper than muscle or bone. He feels them, but he does not fight them. He simply breathes, and lets the flame's rhythm remind him that even here, God is not far. Breathe in, remembering. Breathe out, releasing. Mercy does not wait for perfection. It meets you in the middle of pain. He thinks of other nights like this. Nights when he doubted, when he prayed and heard nothing in return, when heaven felt locked and the heart felt small. And yet, even those nights ended. The sun still rose. The light still came. And every dawn whispered the same truth: you were never alone. He opens his eyes again. The candle flickers higher for a moment, its flame stretching as if in worship. He smiles faintly, because it feels like the flame knows something he's still learning, that waiting in the dark is not wasted. It's sacred. Breathe in. Sacred waiting. Breathe out. Anxious striving. The stillness is not emptiness. It is preparation. He leans back against the chair. The wood cool against his back. His eyes drift to the sky beyond the window. The stars shimmer faintly. Tiny lanterns across an endless sea. He imagines each one as a mercy already set in motion, light traveling through time to reach him here. He whispers softly, "Your compassion never fails." The words feel fragile at first, but they steady as he repeats them. He lets them rise and fall with each breath until they no longer feel spoken, but lived. Breathe in. Compassion. Breathe out. Complaint. Grace lives in the spaces between every inhale. He thinks of the day that just passed, of words he wishes he hadn't spoken, of moments when he forgot to trust. Yet here he is, still loved, still breathing, still held. Because mercy doesn't vanish when we falter. It waits patiently, just beyond the noise. The traveler lowers his head, not in defeat, but in surrender. He doesn't ask for anything now. He only rests in the truth that God's mercy has already found him again. Breathe in. Found. Breathe out. Forgiven. Every night is a doorway for new grace to enter. Outside, a faint shimmer begins at the edge of the sky. The first hint that dawn is near. Though the stars still hold their watch, he sees it not with his eyes, but with his heart, that soft assurance that light is closer than it seems. He whispers once more, "You renew me." Even here, the words float into the quiet, joining the song of unseen mercies unfolding in the dark. The heavens declare his glory. The night declares his faithfulness. And the heart, waiting without fear, declares his new mercies every morning. The candle still burns, small, steady, faithful. Its light wavers softly across the walls, painting slow-moving patterns of gold upon the wood. The traveler sits still, eyes half closed, as the warmth of the flame hums against the cool air of the night. The world beyond remains quiet, only the faint murmur of wind brushing the window, and the deep, peaceful breathing of the earth itself. He draws a long breath, and lets it fall away. Breathe in, remembrance. Breathe out, release. The heart heals when it remembers gently. He allows the night to open within him, memories rising like distant lights across a dark sea. He sees himself in other nights, weary, uncertain, burdened by things that felt too heavy to carry. Nights when the silence pressed close, when he wondered if mercy had run out, when the prayers stayed caught in his throat, and faith seemed like a far horizon he could no longer reach. He remembers the ache of it, the waiting, the questions, the slow passing of hours that refused to move. And yet, as he looks back now, every night that once felt endless had its morning. Every shadow eventually found light, and every tear somehow watered the soil of his soul. He whispers softly, "You were there." Even then, the words tremble, but they do not break. They are the truth returning, gentle, sure, like dawn behind the mountains. Breathe in, presence. Breathe out, pain. Mercy was never absent. It was simply quiet. He closes his eyes again, and lets the memories play. He sees the times he failed, when he turned away, when guilt spoke louder than grace. He sees how easily he believed that love could end. But through it all, mercy remained, not as punishment, but as patience, not as scolding, but as saving. He breathes, slow, deep, and with each breath, the past loosens its hold. He feels it melting, softening, redeemed by understanding. The candlelight flickers brighter, filling the small room with warmth that feels alive. The flame bends and rises, as if the light itself leans closer to listen. And in that light, the traveler begins to see something new. That every difficult season had been preparing him. That even sorrow had purpose. Breathe in, purpose. Breathe out, regret. What once broke you now makes you gentle. He opens his eyes again. The sky beyond the window is still dark, but different now. The stars no longer look cold. They shimmer with kindness. He can almost sense them whispering, "We are proof of light that travels through time." He smiles faintly, because he understands. Mercy too travels through time, From ancient promises to this present breath, he looks once more at the candle. The flame bows slightly, sways, then steadies, and he thinks, that is what faith does too. It may bend, it may waver, but it never truly dies. Breathe in, endurance. Breathe out, fear of falling. Every night endured becomes a testimony of light. The traveler leans back, resting his head. He no longer fears the night, for it has become a friend, a reminder that even in darkness, God's compassion holds vigil, waiting for the first breath of dawn. He whispers once more, because of your great love, we are not consumed. Your mercies are new every morning. The words drift softly into the air, meeting the hum of the wind outside. A quiet prayer carried upward into the heart of God. The heavens declare His glory. The darkness declares His patience. And the heart, remembering its long nights, declares His new mercies every morning. The hour grows deeper into night. The world outside lies wrapped in silence. Even the wind has paused, as if holding its breath in reverence. Only the candle remains awake, its soft flame flickering like a living prayer in the dark. The traveler sits quietly before it, eyes heavy but heart alert. He can feel something stirring in the stillness, not movement, but presence, a quiet nearness that fills the room without sound or shape. It is mercy, unseen, yet unmistakable. Breathe in, nearness. Breathe out, need. God does not have to speak loudly to be near. He listens, not with his ears, but with the soul. There, beneath thought and fear and memory, something whispers, not words exactly, but truth carried on peace itself. It says, you are not forgotten. It says, you are still loved. It says, even now, I am with you. The sound is so faint it might be mistaken for imagination, but mercy has always spoken that way, soft enough to require stillness, gentle enough not to frighten the wounded heart. He closes his eyes, lets his breathing slow until it matches the rhythm of the candlelight. Every flicker feels like a heartbeat, steady, alive, patient. He realizes, mercy is not something that comes and goes, it's something that stays, even when unseen. It lingers like air around the soul. Breathe in, abiding. Breathe out, anxiety. What is constant need not be loud. He remembers the many nights he begged for a sign, a sound, a vision, a miracle, anything that would prove God still cared. But now, in this quiet space, he knows, the whisper was always enough, because the whisper never stopped. The whisper had been there when tears fell unseen, when doors closed and dreams ended, when the heart could only manage one more breath at a time. Through it all, the same quiet voice kept breathing life into the silence. You are mine. You are held, you are loved beyond measure. He exhales slowly. The weight inside him begins to shift, not disappear, but settle. Peace moves in where pressure once lived. Breathe in, peace arriving. Breathe out, burdens leaving. This is how mercy enters, not by force, but by gentleness. He opens his eyes again. The room feels different now, brighter somehow. Though the candle has not changed, he looks around, and it feels like everything is breathing with him. The walls, the air, even the darkness. Alive with quiet grace, he whispers softly, you've been speaking all along, I just didn't know how to listen. The words feel lighter than air, carried upward like incense, and in that moment, the whisper returns again, clearer, softer. I never left. and my compassion will not fail you." He bows his head, not in sorrow, but in surrender. He knows that voice now, the same one that spoke the stars into being, the same one that promised renewal with every dawn. Breathe in, hearing. Breathe out, hiding. The whisper is Mercy's language, and tonight, you are fluent in it. He stays like that for a long while, no prayers, no striving, just listening to love breathe all around him. The flame dances quietly, the shadows tremble in rhythm, and the silence grows sacred, not empty, but full of God's gentle presence. Outside, the faintest light begins to stir along the edge of the sky, a pale line of silver rising where night meets the unseen day. The whisper within him says once more, "Morning is near." The traveler smiles, for he now understands that mercy has been here the whole time, not waiting for morning, but bringing morning with it. Breathe in, promise. Breathe out, fear. Mercy does not end with the night, it transforms it. The heavens declare his glory, the silence declares his compassion, and the heart, listening in faith, declares his new mercies every morning. The light gathers softly at the edge of the world. The night, once heavy, now thins into mist, folding quietly back into the earth that waited so patiently for the dawn. The stars grow faint, their shimmer swallowed by the pale blue of approaching day. And the traveler sits still, caught in the quiet between what was and what is coming. This moment, this breath before morning, is holy. A space neither dark nor light, but both. A gentle pause in the heart of creation where everything seems to listen. Breathe in, stillness. Breathe out, striving. Before light fills the sky, peace must first fill the soul. He closes his eyes. The earth beneath him cool and damp with dew. The air smells of beginnings, wildflowers, cedar, and something sweeter he cannot name. Each breath he takes feels deeper, freer, as though the world is teaching him to inhale grace itself. He listens, and hears the smallest things, the trickle of water far away, the hum of a waking insect, the sigh of leaves shifting against one another in soft conversation. All creation preparing for light. All creation waiting, not in fear, but in quiet faith. He whispers softly. They are new every morning, and the words rest easily on his lips now, not as repetition, but as realization. He understands that mercy does not begin at sunrise. It begins right here, in this breath, before the light comes. Breathe in, mercy arriving. Breathe out, fear retreating. The dawn begins in the heart long before it reaches the sky. He opens his eyes again. The horizon glows faintly, a thin line of pale gold stretching across the distance. It's not bright yet, but it's enough. Enough to remind him that no darkness lasts forever. He leans back slightly, feeling the earth steady beneath him. The cool grass presses gently against his palms, and he thinks of all the mornings he has rushed past, all the new mercies he once overlooked because his heart was still racing with yesterday's worry. But not today. Today he is here for it, awake to the beauty of beginning. Breathe in. Awareness. Breathe out. Haste. Mercy never hurries. It waits for you to notice. The wind shifts. It carries with it a hint of warmth, the first touch of the coming sun. It brushes across his face, through his hair. It feels like being seen, like being touched by the kindness of God Himself. He whispers into the wind, "Thank you for coming quietly, every day, without fail, and though there is no voice in return." The whole valley seems to answer. The light brightens just enough to paint the tops of the trees. A quiet promise kept. Once again. He closes his eyes once more. And in that moment between breaths, he feels something deep, the world turning. Hearts healing. Mercies unfolding. All of it happening without noise. Without rush. Without him needing to do anything but rest. Breathe in. Surrender. Breathe out. Control. You are held in the turning of a faithful world. The sky now glows soft pink. The mist thinning over the hills. He can see where shadows end and light begins. And he understands. That mercy doesn't erase the night. It transforms it. He smiles gently. For in this quiet breath before morning, he knows, the same love that carried him through the darkness is the same love that now ushers in the dawn. The heavens declare his glory. The dawn declares his consistency. And the heart, resting between darkness and day, declares his new mercies every morning. The horizon blushes softly. A delicate gold begins to spill across the hills. The stars surrender their shimmer to the growing glow. And the river far below catches the first reflection of heaven's warmth. The traveler lifts his gaze toward the east. The air trembles faintly with life returning. Birds shifting in the trees. Wings rustling softly against the breath of dawn. Each sound feels sacred. Each flicker of light feels like a quiet benediction. Breathe in. Awakening. Breathe out. The night left behind. The light is not rushed. It unfolds like grace. He watches as the sun edges upward. Slow. Steady. Inevitable. It does not fight the darkness, it simply fills it. And with every inch of light, the world changes. Shadows soften. Colors bloom. The earth exhales. He closes his eyes. Lets the sunlight find him, warming the space between his skin and spirit. It feels like being remembered. Like God Himself has traced the outline of his life and said once again, "Let there be light." Breathe in. Remembered. Breathe out. Forgotten things. Mercy finds what the world overlooks. The warmth deepens across his face. He can feel it travel, from his cheeks to his chest to the slow beating of his heart. It beats in rhythm with the dawn. The same steady pulse that began long before he was born. And he understands. This is not just morning, It is resurrection in miniature. Every sunrise proof that God's compassion outlasts every night. He whispers softly, "You never stop coming." The words catch in his throat. And then they soften. Because he knows it's true, mercy never stops arriving. Even when we stop looking for it. He opens his eyes again. The world is golden now. Trees painted in honey and light. Dew glistening on every leaf. Every blade of grass. The river below shines like glass, carrying reflections of heaven downstream. Breathe in the warmth of faithfulness. Breathe out the chill of fear. What God renews, He sustains. He rises slowly, stretches His hands toward the sky. The simple act of standing in light feels like worship. He doesn't speak, doesn't move quickly. He only lets the day wash over him. Every ray of sunlight feels like forgiveness, gentle, unconditional, endless. He looks around the valley. It is the same place he saw beneath the moon, yet it feels reborn. Colors that were gray are now green. Shadows that once frightened him have become places of beauty. Even the mist that lingered now glows like silk. Nothing has changed, and yet everything has. He smiles faintly, because he realizes it wasn't the world that changed. It was his sight, healed by grace. Breathe in new sight. Breathe out old sorrow. Mercy gives the eyes new ways to see. The birds begin to sing louder now. Their songs rise in layered melody, woven with wind and water and warmth. It is as though creation itself is giving thanks. A hymn of gratitude whispered into the morning. The traveler listens, his eyes wet, his heart full, and he thinks, this sound, this light, this peace, all of it is mercy made visible. He whispers the verse again. Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed. His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. He lets the words rest in the air, carried by the light itself. Breathe in love unending. Breathe out every trace of fear. The dawn has come, and with it, everything needed for the soul to begin again. The heavens declare His glory. The sunrise declares His faithfulness. And the heart, standing in golden light, declares His new mercies every morning. The sun climbs a little higher now, its light settling softly across the valley. The air hums with life, quiet, steady, renewed. The river sparkles like glass. Birds scatter in graceful arcs across the sky. And the traveler stands still, as though afraid to move too quickly and disturb the holiness of the moment. He breathes in slowly. The warmth of the morning fills his lungs. He exhales, and the last weight of the night finally leaves his body. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out release. Morning is not a beginning. It is remembrance. He begins to walk slowly down the gentle slope toward the stream. His steps soft, unhurried. Each footfall presses into the damp grass, leaving faint marks that glisten for a moment before fading back into the earth. And as he walks, memories begin to rise. He remembers the first time he felt mercy, though he did not yet know its name. A friend's quiet kindness, a stranger's understanding. The peace that came after prayer had ended in silence. Each one a small mercy, given freely, undeserved, unending. He smiles faintly, because he can see it clearly now. How mercy had always been near, in laughter, in tears, in the soft patience of God guiding him through days that made no sense. Breathe in, remembering. Breathe out, regret. Mercy has always left footprints in your past. He kneels by the edge of the river. The water moves gently, not hurried, not loud, simply faithful. He dips his hands into it. The chill surprises him at first, then soothes him. He watches as ripples spread outward, widening, touching everything. That's what love does, he thinks. It begins small and keeps reaching. He whispers, "You never stopped loving me." Even when I forgot, his voice trembles. But it is full of peace, because saying it aloud makes it real again. The river continues its soft song, and he imagines mercy flowing just like this, around stones, over roots, always forward, always clear. Nothing can stop it. Not distance, not failure, not time. Breathe in, flowing grace. Breathe out, yesterday's guilt. The mercy that found you once will find you again. He looks into the water. The sunlight dances upon its surface. For a moment, he sees his reflection, not tired, not burdened, but calm, radiant, whole. He almost doesn't recognize himself, because love has changed him. Quietly, faithfully, from within. He closes his eyes, letting the warmth of light and water merge within him. He doesn't need to strive anymore, doesn't need to search. He only needs to receive. Breathe in, receiving. Breathe out, striving. You do not chase mercy. You awaken to it. The breeze shifts, carrying with it the scent of wild herbs and sunlit wood. He tilts his head toward the sound of leaves moving above him, and he hears the whisper again, this time gentle as breath. My compassion has never left you, even in the places you forgot to look. Tears gather quietly at the corners of his eyes, not of sadness, but of release, of recognition, of remembering what was always true. He lets them fall freely into the water. They disappear instantly, absorbed, redeemed. made part of the flow. He watches them go, and it feels like watching all the years of wandering wash away. The world glows brighter now, not with new light, but with new awareness. Everything sings softly of love that does not fade. The heavens declare His glory. The waters declare His compassion. And the heart, remembering mercy's touch, declares His new mercies every morning. The traveler lingers by the riverbank, still and unhurried. The sun now sits higher above the hills, its golden warmth spilling through the branches. A chorus rises softly around him, the gentle music of birds greeting the day. Their voices weave through the wind like threads of praise. Light and joy. The sound fills the air, not in noise, but in harmony. Every note simple, every pause holy. Each small creature lifting its voice as though creation itself remembers. His mercies are new every morning. Breathe in, sound of praise. Breathe out, silence of worry. Let creation's rhythm teach your soul to sing again. The traveler smiles, listening. The birds are not anxious, not hurried. They do not wonder if the light will last. They simply sing because it is morning, because the world has been given back to them again. He closes his eyes, and in their song, he hears what words cannot say, that joy is not earned. It is awakened. That peace is not found. It is remembered. Breathe in, awakening. Breathe out, remembering. Every dawn is a love song whispered from heaven to earth. He opens his eyes and watches them, small figures moving among the trees. Some resting, some soaring. Their feathers catch the sunlight, glimmering with hues of gold and sapphire and soft grey. Each one uniquely made, each one alive with beauty. And he feels a quiet truth rise within him. If God gives such song to birds that live one day at a time, how much more will He care for a heart that seeks Him? He whispers softly, "You feed even them. You clothe even them. And still, you remember me." The words float upward, mingling with the melody above. Breathe in, being remembered. Breathe out, being enough. Mercy finds no creature too small to love. The wind moves gently through the branches, scattering the song in all directions. Each note finds its place, some near, some distant, yet together they form a perfect whole. Like every act of compassion, every breath of grace, forming the unseen harmony of God's faithfulness. He tilts his head back, letting the sound wash over him. He feels it settle into his chest, deep, steady, alive. And he realizes, this music is not just around him, it's within him. The same spirit that moves the birds to sing moves his heart to trust. Breathe in, trust. Breathe out, tension. Even your silence can be a song when it rests in gratitude. He watches one bird land upon a low branch near him. It hops once, twice, tilts its head, and begins to sing. Just for a moment. Its voice pure and small, yet enough to fill the air with light. The traveler listens, and something inside him loosens, something that had been quiet for too long. He feels his own heart hum, not in sound, but in stillness, joining the song unseen. He whispers, "Great is your faithfulness," and though his voice is quiet, it feels as though the world has paused to hear. Because every echo of praise, from bird or human, finds its way back to the same heart of God. Breathe in faithfulness. Breathe out fear. All creation is proof that love continues. The song grows fuller, brighter, as the morning deepens. Every sound, wings, wind, water, heartbeat, joins the choir, and he sits in the midst of it all, humbled, grateful, renewed. The heavens declare his glory, the birds declare his joy, and the heart, singing again after silence, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler remains by the water's edge, the morning around him gentle and full. The songs of the birds drift higher into the air. The warmth of sunlight stretches softly across his shoulders. And beneath all sound, there is something quieter still. Something like healing. He watches the ripples glide across the river's surface. Smooth and endless. Each one begins with a single movement. Yet none of them end, they flow outward. Joining, blending, disappearing into stillness again. He realizes. That is how mercy works too. It begins small, inside the soul, and moves outward into everything it touches. Breathe in. Small beginnings. Breathe out. Slow unfolding. Grace does not rush the heart that learns to heal. He dips his fingers into the water again. The coolness biting gently at first, then soothing, quieting, grounding. He lets the droplets fall back into the stream, watches how the light catches each one before it disappears. And he whispers, "Renew me like this." Again and again. The words are barely sound, more like breath shaped into prayer. He doesn't need to explain or plead. He simply offers himself to the rhythm of mercy that has never stopped flowing. The wind stirs softly. It bends the tall reeds along the bank. Their green stalks move together, bowing and rising in perfect timing. Even they know how to yield, how to let the unseen spirit move through them without resistance. Breathe in, yielding. Breathe out, control. Peace grows in the space that surrender opens. He feels the tension that lived inside his chest begin to fade. It slips away gently, replaced by warmth that feels alive. It's as if the light itself is moving through him, quiet hands untangling the knots of old fear. He doesn't need to do anything. Just allow. He closes his eyes. The sound of the river merges with the rhythm of his breath. He feels as though the two are one, creation and creature breathing together. Every inhale filled with mercy. Every exhale a letting go. Breathe in. Mercy. Breathe out. Memory. The soul becomes lighter when it stops keeping score. He remembers how often he tried to fix himself by effort. How often he thought renewal meant becoming someone different. But sitting here, under the wide open sky, he realizes renewal is not escape. It is return. It is remembering who you already are in the hands of love. He smiles softly, because he feels it now, the deep work of grace happening beneath thought and language. The quiet mending that doesn't need attention, only trust. The birds have grown quiet again, their songs replaced by the steady hum of morning wind. The whole valley seems to rest. Even the sunlight has softened. Everything alive, yet calm. Everything moving, yet still. Breathe in. Restoration. Breathe out. Resistance. Mercy is not loud. It is the whisper that stays when all else settles. He opens his eyes and looks at his reflection again. It ripples gently, light shimmering over his face. And for the first time in a long time, he recognizes peace looking back at him. He whispers, "You make all things new. Even me." The words melt into the sound of the water, and it feels as though the world answers with silence filled with yes. He stays there for a while longer. No rush. No thought of what comes next. Just breathing. Receiving. Resting in the soft work of renewal that never ceases. The heavens declare his glory. The river declares his renewal. And the heart, restored in stillness, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler lifts his eyes, and the light of morning has ripened into fullness. The valley glows softly beneath the sun's slow blessing. The mist that once hung low has melted into shimmering drops of dew, resting upon every blade of grass, every leaf, every petal of the smallest flower. He rises from where he knelt beside the stream, and walks a few steps into the field. The earth sparkles beneath him, alive with 1,000 tiny mirrors catching the light. Each drop glistens, a small jewel upon the skin of the world. He bends down, touches one with the tip of his finger. It trembles, then slides gently into the soil, leaving nothing but a memory of coolness behind. Breathe in. Wonder. Breathe out. Weariness. Even the smallest mercy carries eternity within it. He watches the dew cling to his fingertips. Delicate. Fleeting. Perfect. And he understands, this is what new mercy looks like. Not thunder.
not spectacle,
but droplets of grace, quiet and constant, falling fresh each morning upon a tired world. He walks slowly through the field, each step stirring a shimmer of light. Every blade of grass bends and springs back again, whispering its silent hymn of renewal. The air smells clean, like promise, like beginning. He closes his eyes for a moment, lets the sunlight rest upon his face. He imagines mercy settling upon him the same way, softly, tenderly, covering every part of his heart that still aches. And he whispers, "Let it fall on me too, as gentle as this dew." Breathe in, receiving. Breathe out, remembering. God's compassion renews what time alone cannot. The breeze stirs, carrying faint laughter from a distant flock of birds. It moves through the field in waves, brushing past his skin, making the dew dance before it disappears into warmth. Each drop vanishes, but its touch remains, just as mercy leaves behind peace long after its moment passes. He kneels, gathering a small handful of earth, damp and fragrant. The scent rises, living soil, watered by unseen grace. He turns it over in his hand, the dirt catching the light. And he thinks, even the ground breathes mercy. Every seed hidden below waits for this same renewal. Every root depends upon it. Every flower blooms because of it. Breathe in, unseen grace. Breathe out, unseen fear. Even what lies buried is not forgotten. He places the earth back gently, wipes his hands on his robe, and looks upward once more, the sky now vast and pure. A deep blue canvas stretching into forever. The sun glows steady above, faithful as always. And for the first time, he feels completely aligned with it. No distance, no hurry, only belonging. He whispers softly, "Great is your faithfulness." The words drift into the air like fragrance, light, steady, sure. He feels them return to him in warmth, as though heaven itself breathes them back. Breathe in, assurance. Breathe out, doubt. The dew may vanish, but the mercy remains. The traveler stands there, surrounded by light, by song, by stillness, and he knows. This is how God renews the earth, gently, faithfully, completely, every morning, without fail. He waters creation with love. The heavens declare his glory. The dew declares his tenderness. And the heart, refreshed and alive, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler remains in the field, still surrounded by the shimmer of morning light. The air hums with quiet beauty, the sound of the river in the distance, the soft rustle of leaves speaking to one another. But beneath all these, there is another sound, softer, nearer, deeper than all the rest. It is not heard by the ears, but by the heart. A voice, not loud, not commanding, but kind. It weaves through the stillness like breath through silence. Steady, gentle, familiar. He closes his eyes and listens. At first it feels like memory, but soon it becomes more, a presence wrapping around him, whispering through the soul itself. Breathe in, listening. Breathe out, noise. God's comfort is rarely thunder. It is often the quiet you finally notice. The voice is warm, almost woven from light. My compassion has never left you, it says. Even when you felt far from me, I was near. Even when your heart doubted, my mercy still renewed with every breath you took. I have carried you through the night, and I will keep you through the day. Tears rise softly to his eyes, not from sorrow, but from recognition. Every word feels like home, like the truth his spirit had been waiting to remember. He bows his head. The grass brushes his knees. The earth cool beneath his palms. And for a long moment, he says nothing. He only breathes, and lets the love within those words fill every empty place inside him. Breathe in, being held. Breathe out, being healed. Mercy speaks through every silence that once felt empty. The voice continues, low, melodic, eternal. You do not have to be strong to be loved. You do not have to be perfect to be renewed. My compassion does not begin because of your worthiness. It begins because of mine. And I have chosen to keep loving you. Again and again. With every morning that comes. He exhales deeply. The breath leaves him slow, steady, as though releasing years of doubt and effort. Each word of the voice feels like cool water over flame, softening what was hardened, quieting what once trembled. He whispers back, "Then even my weakness is safe with you." The air around him seems to shimmer in agreement. The sunlight brightens briefly, as though nodding yes. Breathe in, safety. Breathe out, striving. Rest is the language of trust. He opens his eyes again, and the world feels tender, as though everything, wind, earth, and sky, carries the same loving voice. The leaves glint in the light. The breeze moves through the field like the exhale of heaven. Even the faint sound of water seems to echo the same truth. I have loved you with everlasting love. He tilts his head slightly upward. The sun is high now, but its warmth feels soft, patient, embracing. He knows that this voice will follow him, not as sound, but as assurance. Not as thunder, but as peace. He smiles faintly, and whispers, "Your compassions never fail, and I will trust you to renew them again tomorrow." his words rise into the morning air, where the unseen presence already waits. Breathe in. Trust. Breathe out. Tomorrow. The heart that listens finds peace even before the answer comes. The heavens declare his glory. The wind declares his whisper. And the heart, wrapped in assurance, declares his new mercies every morning. The sun has risen fully now, its golden light flowing freely across the land. The traveler stands at the edge of the field, hands resting loosely at his sides. The river glimmers in the distance. Trees sway in slow rhythm with the morning breeze. Everything alive, everything awake. And he realizes the same life that moves through creation moves through him too. The same mercy that renews the sky each dawn renews his spirit now. Breathe in. Strength. Breathe out. Exhaustion. Even rest can restore what striving cannot. He lifts his arms slightly, lets the sunlight warm his palms. The heat seeps into his skin, into muscle, into bone. It feels like something deeper than warmth, something alive, something eternal. He whispers softly, "You renew me from the inside out." The words fall into the wind like prayer, carried effortlessly upward. He remembers the heaviness that once filled his body, the weariness that clung like weight. But standing here, under the vast sky of morning, he feels light again. Not because the path ahead has vanished, but because the burden has changed hands. Breathe in. Release. Breathe out. Relief. Strength returns when surrender replaces control. He takes a slow step forward, the ground steady beneath him. Every movement feels deliberate, sacred, alive. The breeze moves around him gently, as if guiding his pace. The field stretches out before him, wide and glowing. He begins to walk, not to reach somewhere, but to move with purpose renewed. Each step echoes the promise spoken in his heart. "I will sustain you." He smiles faintly, remembering how often he prayed for more strength. And now, he understands that God's answer was not more power, but more peace. The strength he feels now is quiet, steady, born of trust. Breathe in. Quiet courage. Breathe out. Loud fear. Faith is not noise. It is the calm beneath every storm. He pauses beside a tall oak tree, places his hand against the trunk. The bark is rough, textured with years of weather and wind. And yet, the tree stands, rooted, alive. It bends but does not break. He traces the grooves of the bark with his fingers, realizing the marks of endurance are not flaws, they are proof of faithfulness. He closes his eyes, feels his heartbeat steady again. He knows this rhythm. It is the same rhythm that began at creation's dawn. the pulse of divine life flowing through all living things. He whispers, "You are my strength when I have none," and though the words are soft, the echo feels infinite. The wind responds gently, moving the leaves above him in waves of sound, each flutter a whisper of agreement. Breathe in. Agreement. Breathe out. Resistance. Even creation knows how to rest in what God has spoken. He opens his eyes. The world seems clearer now, sharper yet softer at once. Colors vivid, air light, his own breath deep and even. He feels not just alive, but whole. And he knows strength has returned not to make him unbreakable, but to remind him that even broken things can stand again when filled with mercy. Breathe in. Wholeness. Breathe out. What was lost? The Spirit restores, not replaces. He lifts his face to the sun once more. The light glows warm against his closed eyelids, and for a moment, he imagines the very breath of God moving through him, filling him with new life. He whispers quietly, "Because of your great love, I am not consumed. I am renewed." The heavens declare his glory. The earth declares his endurance. And the heart, rising once again, declares his new mercies every morning. The path curves gently downhill, leading the traveler back toward the river that winds through the heart of the valley. The sunlight rests upon the surface of the water, turning it into a living mirror that carries the sky upon its back. It sparkles and hums, whispering with the same peace that filled his heart when the night first broke. He kneels by the edge once more, and watches the current move. The river flows as it always has, unhurried, unwavering, its rhythm unbroken by stone or shore. He feels drawn to it, not as one seeking refreshment, but as one recognizing something familiar. Breathe in. Continuity. Breathe out. Concern. God's mercy flows whether or not we notice. He dips his hand into the water again, and the coolness rushes up his arm. Steady. Alive. Gentle. He lifts his palm, watches droplets fall back in slow arcs of silver. Each one returns easily to the flow. Each one becomes part of the movement again. He whispers softly, "So this is mercy. It never stops. It only continues." The sound of his voice mingles with the murmur of the current. There is no echo, only unity. The river glides over smooth stones and fallen leaves, wrapping around them without resistance. Nothing can halt its course. It finds a way through every gap, over every obstacle. And he realizes, this is how God's love moves through life. Not demanding the path to be clear, but making one through every difficulty. Breathe in. Flow. Breathe out. Force. Mercy moves by surrender, not strength. He scoops another handful of water and brings it close to his face. The reflection that greets him wavers gently, his features softened by light and motion. He sees not weariness, but wonder. The look of one who has remembered what it means to be loved without condition. He lets the water fall again, watching as the ripples spread far and wide, each circle widening until it disappears into the whole. He smiles softly, knowing that every act of kindness, every prayer whispered in faith, travels the same way, outward, unending. The wind picks up slightly, stirring the reeds along the bank. They bend gracefully with the movement, never resisting, never breaking. He thinks, even these slender reeds know how to yield to the will of the current. They trust the rhythm of what carries them. Breathe in. Trust. Breathe out. Tension. The hands that guide the river also guide the heart. The traveler rises slowly to his feet. He follows the line of the river with his eyes, tracing its long, glimmering journey toward the far horizon. It disappears eventually, swallowed by distance. Yet he knows it continues beyond sight. He whispers, "Your mercy flows farther than my eyes can see." And as he says it, a deep calm fills him, the quiet knowing that God's compassion does not end where understanding does. He stands there for a long time, letting the sound of water fill his ears. The gentle splash of current against stone becomes a hymn, repeating endlessly, faithfully. It is the same song creation has sung since time began. You are good, and your mercy endures forever. Breathe in. Endurance. Breathe out. Exhaustion. Faith finds rest in what never stops flowing. The sunlight shifts slightly overhead. The ripples flash with light. Gold upon silver. Endless motion wrapped in peace. And the traveler smiles, because the river below and the mercy within have become one. He kneels again, touches the water a final time, and whispers, "Let my heart learn to flow like this, steady, faithful, free." The heavens declare his glory, the rivers declare his constancy, and the heart, learning to flow with grace, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler walks along the river's curve, the path soft beneath his feet. The morning has deepened into full light. The world around him hums gently, not in noise, but in quiet harmony. And everywhere he looks, mercy hides in the ordinary. A cluster of daisies nods gently beside the path, their white petals catching bits of sunlight like small lanterns. The breeze carries the scent of pine and wild herbs. A dragonfly drifts past, its wings flashing silver for a heartbeat before disappearing again into air. He smiles softly, because all of it feels like prayer. Not spoken, not planned, but lived. Breathe in. Awareness. Breathe out. Distraction. Peace deepens when the heart notices what God has already given. He steps onto a small wooden bridge that crosses a narrower part of the river. The boards creak softly beneath his feet. The sound almost musical. He stops at the middle, rests his hands upon the rail, and looks down at the water gliding below. The sunlight reflects upward, painting his face in warmth. He sees the play of light on the surface, shimmering, changing, constant. And he thinks, this is grace too. The simple gift of a day that keeps unfolding without demand. He looks around. A farmer leads a small flock across the meadow. Two children laugh somewhere in the distance, chasing each other between trees. The world moves at its own gentle pace, guided by unseen hands. Breathe in simplicity. Breathe out striving. The holy often wears the face of the ordinary. He leans against the bridge railing, the wood rough beneath his palms. Grounding. Real. He thinks of the countless mornings he lived without noticing moments like this. How easily beauty becomes invisible when the mind is racing. And he feels a quiet ache, not regret, but gratitude renewed by awareness. He whispers, "Thank you for what I once overlooked." His voice trembles slightly, because he knows, even the unnoticed blessings were still mercies, still proof of love. The river below ripples in reply. The sound of moving water fills the air again, and he lets it wash over his mind until his thoughts slow, until the edges of everything feel soft and wide again. Breathe in, slowing. Breathe out, seeing. Mercy is the art of noticing what never stopped being good. He takes a small piece of bread from his pouch, saved from the night before. He breaks it gently. The crust crisp, the inside soft and warm. He eats slowly, savoring the simplicity. And he thinks, this too is grace. Nourishment given by unseen provision. He looks up at the sky, wide and blue and endless. A single white cloud drifts lazily across. And he realizes, the world never forgot how to rest. It was only he who had forgotten how to join it. He breathes deeply again. The air rich with sunlight and scent and song. And for the first time, he understands how every breath can be a prayer. Not by word, but by wonder. Breathe in, wonder. Breathe out, worry. Gratitude turns the smallest things into altars of peace. He smiles, the kind of smile that comes from stillness, not excitement, and whispers, "This is what your mercy looks like in daylight." The wind answers softly, brushing across his face, almost like a nod. The heavens declare his glory. The earth declares his kindness. And the heart, finally noticing, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler lingers upon the bridge. The soft murmur of the river beneath him. The gentle breath of the wind around him. The world feels calm now. steady, safe. He rests both hands on the railing and closes his eyes. It has been a long journey through night and dawn, through silence and song. And now, with the morning in full bloom, his heart begins to whisper its prayer. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out the need for more. Every prayer begins not with words, but with stillness. He stands quietly. His heart slows. His breath deepens. His thoughts loosen from their edges. He does not plan what to say. The prayer comes naturally, rising from a place deeper than speech. Thank you, he begins softly, for the night that taught me to wait, for the dawn that taught me to trust, for the mercy that met me where I was, and stayed until I could see again. Thank you for being constant when I wavered, for holding me when I forgot how to reach, for loving me without condition, without measure, without end. His voice trembles slightly, but not from fear, from fullness. Each word feels lighter than air, carried upward on the same breeze that moves the leaves around him. The sound of the river below keeps time with his breathing. Every ripple a quiet amen. Breathe in, being heard. Breathe out, being healed. Even silence becomes sacred when the heart prays with trust. He continues softly. Let my eyes stay open to your goodness. Let my heart stay soft to your leading. Let every morning remind me that you are new in mercy, even when I am not new in strength. He pauses. The words have left his lips, but something larger than speech remains. A presence, steady and kind, surrounding him like sunlight through fog. He does not need to explain himself to God. God already knows, and knowing does not lessen his love. He exhales slowly, the tension leaving with it, and he feels the answer come, not as a voice, but as a peace, the kind that wraps around the bones, that fills the quiet, that reminds the soul it belongs. Breathe in, belonging. Breathe out, worry. Peace is the answer mercy always gives. He opens his eyes again. The sky has shifted, lighter now, wider, alive with warmth. The birds have grown louder, their songs full and bright. The world feels awake, not hurried, but assured. He whispers one last line, not request, but devotion. Great is your faithfulness. The words float into the open air, and he feels them return in the wind, as if creation itself whispers back, Amen. He smiles faintly, and realizes that this prayer, this simple morning breath, is all worship needs to be. Not perfect, not planned, but present. Breathe in, presence. Breathe out, praise. Gratitude is the quietest form of glory. He steps away from the railing, turns toward the valley below. The light follows him, spilling across his path. The morning has become a sanctuary, and the whole world, a prayer answered. The heavens declare his glory. The dawn declares his faithfulness. And the heart, praying without words, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler steps off the bridge and back onto the path. The sun sits high now, pouring warmth across the fields and over the quiet water. Every shadow shorter, every color brighter. The world feels alive, not rushed, but renewed, as if the morning itself has washed everything clean. He breathes deeply. The air smells of grass, of pine, of earth that has known both rain and light. And with that breath, he feels the truth settle, that renewal isn't only for the dawn. It is for every moment that chooses to begin again. Breathe in. Renewal. Breathe out. Residue of yesterday. The mercies that found you at sunrise still move with you now. He walks slowly down the path that winds through the meadow. Each step soft, the ground springing gently beneath his feet. Butterflies drift lazily between wildflowers. Bees hum their soft hymn of work and joy. Everything alive, doing what it was made to do. Without fear, without hurry. He smiles faintly, because he realizes this is what mercy looks like in motion. The continuation of what began in stillness. The quiet becoming visible. He whispers softly, "You make all things new." Not once, but always, and as he says it, his heart feels wide again, open like the sky above him. Breathe in. Openness. Breathe out. Old weight. Grace is not a single gift. It is a rhythm. He stops for a moment, tilts his head upward, and watches a hawk circle high in the clear blue. It glides effortlessly, never flapping, never forcing its flight. It simply rides the invisible wind, trusting it to carry. He watches in awe, and understands, faith is not striving to reach heaven. It is letting mercy lift you there. He smiles again, his eyes soft. For the first time, he feels the quiet joy of simply being alive. Not because everything is easy, but because he knows he is held. Breathe in. Joy without reason. Breathe out. Fear without name. Even now, you are sustained by unseen kindness. He continues walking. The valley stretches wide before him, rolling fields. A distant cluster of trees. The faint outline of hills on the horizon. It is the same path he's walked for days. But now, every turn feels different. The same world, seen through healed eyes. He kneels briefly, runs his hand over the tall grass beside him. Tiny drops of dew still cling to some blades. Small remnants of the morning's mercy. He presses his fingertips together. the moisture cool and real. And he knows. Even what fades still leaves its blessing behind. Breathe in. Memory. Breathe out. Meaning. The gift of morning is not that it lasts, but that it returns. He rises again. The light is brighter now, yet softer somehow, not harsh, but embracing. He feels it touch the edges of his thoughts, warming what was once cold. And in that warmth, a peace begins to hum deep within him. Not loud, not fleeting, but steady. He whispers, "You are in every hour, aren't you?" The wind brushes across his face. Quiet. Sure. Answering without words. Breathe in. Constant presence. Breathe out. Fragile certainty. Every moment can become mercy when you let it. He closes his eyes for a long breath. And when he opens them again, everything seems touched by gold. Even his shadow seems lighter. Even his heartbeat sounds like part of a larger song. The heavens declare his glory. The daylight declares his renewal. And the heart, alive in gratitude, declares his new mercies every morning. The traveler moves slowly through the field. The morning now ripened into full day. The air shimmers faintly with heat. A golden haze resting over the valley. The river glows like liquid light, bending gently around every stone, every curve, as though shaped by kindness itself. Each step he takes feels lighter, freer, not because the path has changed, but because his heart has. Every breath feels like thanksgiving, every movement like praise. Breathe in. Gratitude. Breathe out. The need for more. Thankfulness makes the ordinary holy. He looks around, at the way sunlight clings to the tips of the grass, at how the wind carries seeds across the open field, at how everything, even the smallest thing, participates in God's renewal. He whispers softly, "Thank you for all of this, for what I see, and for what I never saw but still received." The words fall from his lips like petals on water, and the wind lifts them away, carrying them toward the horizon. He pauses for a moment, feeling the weight of what it means to be alive and aware. For so long, he lived chasing something distant. A dream. A promise. A future that seemed far away. But now, he understands. He was never meant to chase, only to notice. God had been giving. Every single day. Breathe in. Awareness. Breathe out. Longing. Mercy has already arrived. It simply waits to be seen. He passes under a cluster of trees, their shade cool and soft, the air alive with the scent of bark and leaves. He reaches out, runs his fingertips along the rough surface of the nearest trunk. The texture grounds him. reminds him that gratitude is not only felt in the heart, but lived through the senses. He kneels, brushes his hand across the soil. It is warm, full of life, rich with unseen roots and tiny movements. The world beneath his feet hums with faithfulness, quiet, steady, dependable. He smiles faintly, because it feels like holding the evidence of God's promise. He whispers, "Even the ground praises you." The trees rustle softly in reply, leaves turning in a slow shimmer, as though bowing in agreement. Breathe in. Agreement. Breathe out. Complaint. Creation prays without words, and you are invited to join its song. He sits for a while, resting his back against one of the trees. A shaft of sunlight filters through the branches above, painting warm light across his face. The warmth feels alive, not just physical, but spiritual, as though love itself has chosen to sit with him a while. He closes his eyes, lets that warmth sink deeper. It fills his lungs, his chest, his mind, and with it comes a truth: gratitude is not the end of prayer. It is the prayer. Breathe in. Peace in fullness. Breathe out. Striving for proof. The grateful heart already lives in the answer. He opens his eyes again. The valley stretches endlessly before him. Waves of light and movement and color. The sound of the river drifts upward, mingling with birdsong and wind. Everything around him worships, not through effort, but through being. He whispers softly, "Because of your great love, I am here. And because of your compassion, I will remain." The words steady him, like roots deepening in the soil of trust. The heavens declare his glory. The trees declare his faithfulness. And the heart, walking in gratitude, declares his new mercies every morning. The afternoon sun begins to tilt toward evening. The light softens, stretching long across the meadow, painting the valley in hues of amber and quiet gold. The traveler stands upon a small rise in the land. From here, he can see far, almost endlessly. The river winds below him like a silver thread, and beyond it, the horizon glows, vast, calm, infinite. He breathes in the sight, the warmth of the air, the low hum of insects, the distant call of a bird. Everything slows. The pace of the day gentles, like a hymn reaching its final verse. Breathe in. Completion. Breathe out. The need to rush. Faithfulness is the rhythm that carries life to its gentle close. He sits down upon a smooth stone, the earth firm beneath him. The world stretches wide and silent, not empty, but full of presence, full of peace, full of mercy that does not fade. He looks toward the horizon. The sun rests halfway down now, its light shimmering upon the water. He watches it move. Slow, patient, steady. And he thinks, that's what faithfulness looks like. Never hurried, never absent, always returning. He whispers softly, "You have been steady when I was not. You have remained when I wandered. You have renewed me again and again, when I could not renew myself." The wind moves through the grass beside him, bending it gently, brushing against his robe. It feels like a reply, wordless but real. Breathe in, being known. Breathe out, being certain. Faith is not about understanding. It is about remembering. He tilts his head back. The sky above him stretches endlessly, a vast expanse of blue melting into gold, then softening into rose. He feels small beneath it, but not insignificant. Small like something precious, tended, seen. He closes his eyes. The sun's warmth rests against his face, and in that warmth, he hears the quiet echo of all he has learned, that every sunrise is a promise, and every sunset is its fulfillment. That mercy is not a single act, but an everlasting cycle of giving and returning. He whispers, "You were faithful at dawn, and you are faithful still." The words settle gently in the air. He can almost feel them being carried outward, across the valley, across the water, rising like prayer into the wind. Breathe in, continuation. Breathe out, closure. There is no ending in God, only deeper beginnings. He opens his eyes. The sun now touches the edge of the distant hills. The sky is fire and tenderness, brilliance and calm. Every color melts into another, seamless, perfect. And he realizes, faithfulness looks like this, constant change held together by eternal love. He bows his head slightly. The light glows across his hands, across the ground, across his heart. And he whispers again, "Great is your faithfulness." This time, it is not memory. It is certainty. Breathe in, certainty. Breathe out, rest. Faith does not ask what tomorrow holds. It simply trusts who will be there. The wind quiets. The world settles into peace. Even the river below slows in its song. And for a long moment, the valley feels timeless, suspended in grace. The heavens declare his glory. The horizon declares his eternity. And the heart, resting at the edge of day, declares his new mercies every morning. Evening folds itself gently over the valley. The golden light of the day deepens into amber, then into rose, then into the quiet blue that comes before the stars. The air grows cooler, softer, carrying with it the scent of earth and water. The traveler sits upon the stone, his hands resting loosely upon his knees. his eyes half closed, his heart wide open. He does not speak now. He does not need to. The prayer has already been prayed. The gratitude already given. Now, there is only peace. Breathe in. Completion. Breathe out. Release. There is a kind of holiness that lives in stillness. He watches the horizon fade slowly into night. The sun disappears behind the hills, leaving a soft glow that lingers. And in that fading light, he sees it, the reflection of mercy that does not end with the day. For just as the sun sets to rise again, grace withdraws only to return. Renewed. Unending. He whispers softly, "Your compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." The words drift upward, melting into the air. And in that quiet, it feels as if the very world repeats them back. The trees sigh softly in the wind. The river hums beneath the fading light. The earth exhales. The sky deepens. All of creation breathing with him. Together in rhythm. Breathe in. Togetherness. Breathe out. Separation. Nothing made in love is ever alone. He closes his eyes. Inside, there is no darkness. Only warmth. Only stillness. He sees the light of the morning he's walked through, the dew, the song of the birds, the river, the voice of assurance. Each one a thread in the tapestry of mercy that now wraps gently around him. He remembers the long night that began this journey. The waiting. The silence. The ache. And how every moment of shadow became soil for grace to grow. He smiles softly. Because now he understands, mercy was never something he needed to find. It was what carried him here all along. Breathe in. Realization. Breathe out. Remembering. God's love has no beginning and no end. Only presence. The stars begin to appear. One. Then another. Then many. Tiny sparks scattered across a darkened sky. Each one a reminder. Light is never lost. It simply changes form. He lies back upon the cool grass. The world above him vast and peaceful. The earth beneath him solid and kind. And in between the two, he rests. Safe in the middle of heaven and home. He whispers one final prayer. Barely more than breath. Thank you for being faithful, even when I was afraid, even when I forgot, even when I could not see. The wind moves through the grass, soft as a sigh, and though no words return, he feels the answer in the stillness. I have always been here, and I will be here again with the morning. Breathe in. Peace. Breathe out. Sleep. The same mercy that woke the dawn now watches over the night. The valley rests. The river sings softly. The stars keep their gentle vigil. and the traveler closes his eyes. Heart quiet, breath slow, soul at peace. The heavens declare his glory. The night declares his constancy. And the resting heart, wrapped in gratitude, declares his new mercies every morning. Say softly, Amen, and rest now, in the peace that stays.